This evening, there was chaos this morning after a shooting on Leopold Street. One woman accuses a vendor of selling fake milk. Hinterland air safety will greatly improve this year. In the region, in Trinidad and Tobago, National Assembly suspended after opposition members' outburst. And internationally, Spain is still divided as Catalonia inaugurates its newly elected leaders.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Rival Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Today is Wednesday, January the 17th, 2018, and this edition of Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Gunshots rang out this morning on Leopold Street in Georgetown. Wendell Jeffrey was there and filed this report.
One resident was shot. Her condition remains unknown, as pandemonium broke out in Leopold Street early this morning. It is rumored that two rival gangs revived an old feud. Speaking from behind a partially opened door, in obvious fear for her life, the daughter to the woman who was shot said that the shooters just came and started shooting. She said her mother's name is Jacqueline, called Jackie, and their address is 82 Breeder and Leopold Streets. She said her mother was shot in her shop. As the police were conducting their investigations, a man, claiming to be the victim's son, pointed out to the police where his mother was shot, and as he walked away, he was heard asking the police to keep out of the situation.
Why asked him to this? Why asked him to this? Why asked him to this? Why asked him to him? You pick up your evidence and still to this. Because every day you don't get a problem. Every day you don't get a problem. Every day. Every day. I did my car in operation. People patrolling the car from here. None of them. You better pray not to not to share, no. Nobody has nobody has been taken from. If you can't come to it and disrespect me, nobody coming here, they say it's real. Nobody coming to me, not to me. But don't shoot me one in there, no. Meanwhile, it's not nobody. I can't walk.
As the investigations continued, the police made 3 visits to houses, one in Penny Lane, South Ramville Gardens, one in Kitty, and one in East Ramville, houses which are all said to belong to the mastermind of the shootings. Up to press time, the condition of Jackie, the woman who was shot, was still unknown. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. We have an update to the story as 2 individuals, John Kirby and Radesh Pat, have been detained by police. They are currently assisting in the investigation. The Ministry of Communities will begin an awareness campaign for both counselors and voters ahead of the local government elections scheduled for later this year. Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkin said the campaign starts in February and will engage various levels of existing prospective candidates of neighborhood Democratic councils and regional Democratic councils across the nation. The awareness campaign is also intended to improve voter turnout. Minister Bulkin said the government has a target of a minimum 50% turnout at this year's election. The government has allocated $2.9 billion for the hosting of the local government elections slated between the beginning of November and early December of this year. One woman is complaining to authorities to stop the sale of counterfeit milk. Here's more. A video currently trending on Facebook shows a woman returning a can of fern leaf powdered milk to a shop in Border Market. She returned the milk to the vendor, alleging it to be fake. She then explains how to tell the difference between the two.
But this is not the original for me.
So which is original?
This is the original for me.
What part of this is something?
Look here, the Chinese writing, we're not supposed to receive anything with Chinese writing label. You see the labeling here, you see the labeling here, it's different. The writing is different. Look here, the labeling here is different, the labeling here is different. Right? The labeling size is different, and this says to be resale in Guyana and St. Lucia. That one don't have anything like that.
The can to the left is the counterfeit. It could supposedly be identified by the damage to its seal and the lack of English writing. Additionally, fern leaf sold in Guyana typically bears the label valid for Guyana and St. Lucia. This is just the latest of several counterfeit products that has made it into Guyanese stores. Just last year, a company was cited by regulators for selling counterfeit cans of Brunswick tuna. Now it would seem that milk is just another one of the products for which Guyanese must be aware. Head of the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department, Marlon Cole, warns that legal action may be taken against those who import and sell counterfeit food and drug products, saying, quote, "There are legal repercussions in terms of someone selling milk or any consumable that is fake, that is knowingly or deliberately selling a product that is not up to standard," end quote. Consumers are also encouraged to report such violations to the GAFDD. Don't go away, we have more news for you after the break. For the best Creole food in town, come to Ridley's Restaurant. Taste our hot meals, fresh bread, and sweet pastries. Our spacious dining hall is free for all occasions. For reservations and more, call 226-2518 or 225-7245. We're open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wrigley's Restaurant, located at 38 Robb Street, Laceytown, between King and Wellington Streets. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Ridley's Restaurant. Tasty and healthy eating.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Back. A Brooklyn court convicts a man for the murder of a Guyanese girl. On Tuesday, he was sentenced to 41 years in prison. Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez announced that the 26-year-old man was sentenced to prison for firing a single shot with a submachine rifle, killing Shamel Mercurius. Before migrating to the United States, Mercurius lived with her mother at Blygazette Section L, Campbellville, Georgetown. Mercurius was at an apartment in East Flatbush, Brooklyn, babysitting her 3-year-old cousin at the time of the 2016 shooting. A bird strike prevented several Cuban visitors from returning home. Wendell Jeffrey tells us more.
Last Saturday night, an Aruba Air flight encountered several birds mid-air. The plane sustained damages but landed safely. It was grounded for repairs. That specific aircraft is the one dedicated to the Guyana-Cuba route. As such, several Cuban visitors were stuck in Georgetown until a replacement was sent. The incident took place 4 days ago. The Cuban nationals are expected to be flown home today. Aruba Air is expected to dispatch 2 aircrafts to the Chedijagan International Airport this afternoon. Several businesses and charitable organizations accommodated the affected persons. Roraima Airways Residence Inn and Duke Lodge Hotels, the Catholic Diocesan Youth Center in Sobrineville, and the YWCA on Brigdam provided meals and lodging for the stranded Cubans. Captain Jerry Gavaya, the Chief Executive Officer of Roraima Airways and the local representative of Aruba Air, explained that a standard operating arrangement is in place for delayed Aruba airline passengers, but due to the extended delay, additional accommodations had to be secured. Gavaya is quoted as saying that Aruba Air had expected to have the Guyana flight operational on Monday, but the mechanical issues were not rectified at that time as was anticipated. This resulted in the need for additional accommodation at short notices, and arrangements were immediately put in place to have them comfortably accommodated in groups so that they can interact among themselves and at the same time be communicated with and given updated departure information. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. A 28-year-old Buxtonian who has been evading justice for some time was apprehended last night. He was previously granted his pretrial liberty by the court on a joint charge of rape, for which a warrant was issued for his arrest. He was apprehended by ranks of a police patrol at Sideline Dam, Annandale, East Coast, Demerara. At the time of the arrest, the accused rapist, who is also wanted for questioning in relation to several armed robberies, was found in possession of 29 grams of cannabis packaged in small-sized Ziploc bags. Hinterland air safety will be improved greatly later this year. Here's more. Join us after the break where we take a look at Guyana, the region, and beyond. Stay with us.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
For the best Creole food in town, come to Ridley's Restaurant. Taste our hot meals, fresh bread, and sweet pastries. Our spacious dining hall is free for all occasions. For reservations and more, call 226-2518 or 225-7245. We're open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wrigley's Restaurant, located at 38 Robb Street, Laceytown, between King and Wellington Streets. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Ridley's Restaurant. Tasty and healthy eating.
Welcome back. And we now take a look at the region. In Trinidad and Tobago, Tuesday's sitting of the Upper House was temporarily suspended for 15 minutes during a private motion to annul the Freedom of Information Exemption Order 2017, which was brought by opposition Senator Wade Mark. CNews reports.
At the top of the news tonight, the sitting of the Upper House this afternoon was temporarily suspended for 15 minutes during a private motion to annul the Freedom of Information Exemption Order 2017. The private motion brought by opposition Senator Wade Mark seeks to annul the Freedom of Information Exemption Act 2017, which exempts the Strategic Security Services Agency from applications under the FOI Act.
Opposition Senator Wade Mark said the Exemption Act 2017 will remove access to information by citizens, interest groups and the media, and will affect the transparency, accountability and necessary checks and balances of the operations of the SSA. During his contribution, Senator Mark made certain assertions about government and initially refused to retract the statements and apologize to the Attorney General.
Please retract the statement and apologize. Please retract, Senator Mark,
I retract it, sir.
and apologize.
No, once you retract it, you don't have to apologize.
Senator Mark, Senator Mark.
I retract, sir. What? I retract. I retract, sir. I withdraw.
Senator Mark continued with his line argument, again forcing the Attorney General to seek the protection of the Senate Vice President, Nigel De Freitas. The House was then temporarily suspended for 15 minutes. On resumption of the sitting, Senator Mark argued that the Strategic Services Agency had been in existence for 22 plus years and there are no regulations governing the activities of the organization.
They can hire, they can exercise their powers whimsically, arbitrarily, capriciously, Mr. Vice President. They can conduct discipline and they can conduct and discipline employees as they choose. They can establish their own disciplinary procedures.
He alleged that during the period 2015 to 2018, the SSA had an estimated expenditure of $500 million without accountability to the Parliament.
And internationally, Spanish MPs elected in the Catalan regional vote last month will be sworn in today, but Parliament is expected to be emptier than usual as many who won seats are either in jail or in self-imposed exile. They're facing a criminal investigation following October's outlawed secession referendum. Al Jazeera's Carl Penhall reports from Barcelona.
So far, their chants of freedom for the prisoners have been ignored. As Catalonia's parliament in Barcelona reopens, a handful of elected separatist politicians remain in jail. Others fled abroad.
With these demonstrations, we are trying to keep, we can say, the flame, burning. If someone thinks that Catalan will give up, they don't know Catalans.
The first task for members of parliament on Wednesday is to choose a parliamentary speaker. Next, a vote is needed for the new head of the Catalan government. But it's complicated. Madrid shut down this parliament last October and arrested Catalan leaders for rebellion after they held a referendum to break away from the rest of Spain. In a snap election last month, the Citizens Party, which favours remaining part of Spain, emerged as the biggest single party. But a coalition of separatist parties seems certain to form a ruling majority. Ahead of the new session of Parliament, separatist politicians headed into closed-door meetings. Their key concerns seem to be how to press ahead with the goal of breaking away from Spain.
Obstacles are a constant issue. We will have to look for new solutions, but we have never rejected the idea of negotiations. But the only thing that the Spanish state offers us is prison, exile and direct rule.
The ousted Catalan First Minister Carles Puigdemont remains in self-imposed exile in Belgium. Judges warn he will be arrested if he returns to take his seat in the Catalan Parliament. Separatist parties say they will try to reinstate Puigdemont as First Minister, but the pro-unity Citizens Party fears that would aggravate the crisis.
The separatist parties are used to breaking the law, so it's difficult to know exactly what they will do next. Mr. Puigdemont lives in a parallel universe, like in the movie The Matrix.
Groups of school children continue to tour Parliament this week to learn how the ornate building began as a weapons and ammunition store. None of the guides were predicting what might happen in the next chapter in Catalonia's political battle. Carl Penhall, Al Jazeera, Barcelona, Spain.
And now for your 7-day weather forecast. Here's this week's bridge retraction schedule and today's foreign currency exchange rates. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook and YouTube. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast, and Thursday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast, saying thank you for welcoming us into your home, and do have a blessed evening.